Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. Like I said before, and I'll keep on saying it, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. And also share the video. Please share these videos. Share them on your timeline. Share them on your Facebook page. Share them on your Twitter page. Retweet the videos. Let's let more people know about BWTM Sports. Thank you for taking your time to listen to our final thoughts on Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux. Listen, I like Billy Joe Saunders. I've met him a couple of occasions and spent some real good time with Billy in the lead up in the final days of his fight with Chris Eubank Jr. And that interview I did with him is one of my favorite interviews ever. When we sat down, and he'd been playing around early on when he did his interviews, and we sat down on the ring post, and we sat down. We had a real serious kind of man-to-man talk, no jokes, serious stuff. And I looked in his eyes, and I could see the hunger and his desire to really do a job on Chris Eubank Jr. And I said to him, "Are you seriously going to trade with Chris Eubank Jr.?" He said, "Yeah, I'll stand, I'll hold my feet, I'll stand, and I'll trade with Chris Eubank Jr." And as good as his word, he did do that. We move on. We had that performance against Andy Lee. Good performance. Again, Billy tiring down the stretch. Andy Lee, the puncher, being told by one of the best trainers in the country to box when he's a puncher, and completely wrong strategy to fight against Billy Joe Saunders. If he'd gone out as a puncher and went to fight, Billy Joe would have seen a different fight. May have not beaten Billy Joe, but would have seen a different fight. Instead, we saw a guy trying to box against a superior boxer and finding himself on the canvas twice. And even when he tried to rally late in the fight, well, by then it was too late. We now have the fight in the Leisure Centre. Let's not talk about that, by the trainer who actually at the moment is training Tyson Fury. And now we have the fight we had against William Monroe Jr., where he basically talked the ears off William Monroe Jr., knew exactly what he was doing, really talked down to William Monroe, really talked and intimidated him, and then gave William Monroe some personality issues when he got in the ring, and some character issues. He didn't know whether he wanted to hit Billy Joe or not. He didn't know if he wanted to fight or not. He didn't know if he wanted to be a boxer or sitting down in the audience spectating. And he, we saw a real inconsistent performance from William Monroe, and Billy Joe Saunders moves on. We now have David Lemieux. This by far, in my opinion, is the most dangerous opponent in Billy Joe Saunders' career. I don't care what anybody tells me about this. Oh, he's going to outbox Lemieux. Listen, my spider sense is tingling, and it doesn't tingle often, but when it tingles like this, and there's a gut feeling, I just keep seeing certain things. And one of the first things I noticed about this new Billy Joe Saunders under Ingle is he's very hyper, very, very hyper, very up in your face, hyper. In fact, he was hyper when he left when he was with after the Wolverine fight. He was hyper in the other guy's fight, the guy that knocked out Langford at the press conference, post-fight press, or the press conference for that fight, to announce that fight. He was hyper, proper hype. And he was like he was going to fight the guy at the press conference. It's all right, fine. So there was that there. Then I saw hype again with him with William Monroe. Proper hype. I'm going to do this. I'm like, all right, fine. Now today, with a weigh-in and a weigh-in, well, that just topped it all off, didn't it? The weigh-in with Lemieux weighing. Listen, if he weighs 3 or 4 more pounds, a few more pounds more, what? Fight's on. I'm not saying that's the case. They both weighed 160 pounds, so what? A couple of ounces here and there, what? The fight is on. So, people say, oh, you're wrong for saying that, but they're both weighed in 160 pounds. Because look, when Lemieux got off the scales, Billy Joe jumped back on the scales. He made sure to take his underpants off as well, weighed in 160 pounds, and ran off the scales. So interesting. But that's mind games. Billy Joe Saunders is using all he can to get in the mind of Lemieux. Let me remind all of you boxing fans something here. Fighters are allowed to improve. They are allowed to improve. They are allowed to improve and get better from their mistakes. Let me tell you something. Dave Lemieux boxed arguably, not even arguably, the best middleweight in the world, which is Gennady Golovkin. Billy Joe Saunders has yet to prove he is in that elite class yet. He's yet to prove that. Yeah, well, all Golovkin did was put him on the jab. Well, that's what Golovkin did. And that was in 2000 and I think a few years ago. Since then, I managed to do some research and spoke to Manny, who's based in Canada, to give me the rundown of what's been going on with David Lemieux. And he said David Lemieux's camp up to that point has been all about partying and rock star. And David Lemieux's got a real kind of had a real rock star sort of thing about him. But since the Golovkin fight, it's been all business. It's been very serious. And there's a maturity about David Lemieux that Saunders fans need to be careful of. Your guy is stepping in, or Billy Joe Saunders, I say your guy. Billy Joe Saunders is stepping in with the biggest puncher, bar none, in his career. He's fighting the best opponent, bar none, in his career. You could say all you want about Chris Eubank Jr., and Chris Eubank Jr. clipped him a few times, remember? Clipped him a few times. And Billy Joe Saunders has a tendency to hold his feet later in the fight. Lemieux's going to come out quick, and he can be caught, Saunders. For all his skills he's got, he can be caught. And this is a guy who only needs one opportunity to knock you out. One opportunity. And I hope Billy Joe Saunders proves me wrong. This is how I see the fight turning out. One of two things. Lemieux, Saunders puts on a dazzling display against David Lemieux and arrives at the world level with a dazzling performance. There's A. Or B. He leaves Canada with only his belt holding up his waist. I'm honest. I'm serious here. I can see Lemieux causing a shock and knocking Billy Joe Saunders out, and badly. I can see it. And I hope and pray. I hear a lot of people talk about, yeah, he's looking in great shape. But technically, what does Dominic Ingle bring to the table for Billy Joe Saunders? I hear him say, oh, he's in great shape. Best shape he's been in his life. Look great. That's fine. But surely, as a professional fighter, getting yourself into shape is just a given. Have we got to the standards now that we allow certain fighters to come in certain fights in certain condition and unprofessional? We call it for what it is. The performance he had against Wolverine, he came in, he was unprofessional in his setup. Now he's with Dominic Ingle and he's in shape. But does Dominic Ingle have the know-how to technically deal with what Billy Joe Saunders is going to be facing? It's the first time in his career he's facing a real puncher. Not Spike O'Sullivan punching power. David Lemieux punching power, which is a lot different. And Lemieux's fought a lot better opposition with that punching power than Billy Joe Saunders does. And he gets clipped and he holds his feet. And let's just hope that that conditioning can take him through 12 rounds, because you've got a good guy, a guy who can punch the body and punch the head. When you've got a heavy puncher punching on you, and Billy Joe Saunders is going to be moving. Against Willie Monroe Jr., he didn't have to do so much because Willie Monroe didn't come to fight. Lemieux is going to be coming out of round one. He's going to come out swinging. I'm telling you now, he's going to come out swinging. I hope Billy Joe Saunders is going to be able to. What he's got to do with Lemieux is hit him and get out of there. Hit him with hard shots and don't allow Lemieux to set. With any big puncher, they need to be able to set, which means they have to be able to get 2 feet solid on the ground, not turning, not switch, and then land their shots. So he cannot afford David Lemieux to set his feet. If he allows Lemieux to set his feet, and one of the ways he can allow Lemieux to set his feet is by holding his own feet and standing in front of Lemieux. If Saunders decides to get macho and stand in front of Lemieux, he can kiss his WBO title goodbye. He has to do this. Move, hit, move, hit, move. I don't care if it's boring. I don't care if it's not exciting. Hit, move, move. Tie up where he has to. Get ugly. Tie him up. Don't allow Lemieux. Frustrate Lemieux. Keep the right jab in his face. Moving, constantly moving. Don't give Lemieux an opportunity. My question is, can Billy Joe do that with 12 rounds against a world-class puncher? Can he do that? I have serious doubts if he can do that for 12 rounds. Now, Billy Joe Saunders can punch himself a bit, but he says, I'm going to do things on my terms. Yeah, well, he might not be able to do things on his terms at this level. We don't know. We just don't know. He did against Eubank. Well, Eubank for 6 rounds didn't do anything. Let's be honest there. If that's his signature win, Eubank did nothing for 6 rounds, and Andy Lee can't box. Andy Lee's a puncher, can't box. There's a difference. This guy, Lemieux, I don't think Lemieux can box. I think Lemieux is a puncher, but he's crafty with it. He's not just a guy who can punch, he's crafty with it. And this is something I got a real bad feeling in this fight. I really do. I've been feeling it. I don't like Billy Joe Saunders ranting and raving and all that stuff is energy being wasted. It don't mean anything. It's great for the camera. It's great for the fans, but the tickets have been sold. I think it's a sold out event. So what are you jumping up and what's all that for? You don't need all that now. At this point of Billy Joe Saunders' career, as a mature champion, which he should be now, he should have that sort of level of maturity back and I'd say, all right, fine. You know what? I need to focus 110% in this fight because this is my biggest fight of my career. He don't need to be getting caught up in the, slangy match now with Lemieux and all that stuff. That stuff needs to be forgotten about. Lay in, turn your back, get out of there, get ready to fight. Get ready to fight. He's fighting in Canada. You know what I mean? Away from home. He's got a few of his English buddies with him and a couple of people flown over to see him fight. But that's not the same as fighting in England. It's very different. Very, very different. You'll know that when he comes to the ring, when he gets in the ring, you'll know that. Yes, he's fought abroad as an amateur, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know about all that, but this is a pro. Very different situation. So nobody quite knows how Billy Joe Saunders is going to react fighting abroad against the biggest puncher of his career and against the best fighter in his career. He might not be able to box Lemieux, but he can fight and he's got heart. And he didn't get knocked over by Golovkin like that. He put up a fight. Okay. So, and his trainer's a damn good trainer. His trainer, Lemieux's trainer, is a damn good trainer. This ain't no bum he's going in the ring with, right? This ain't no British Commonwealth. Not disrespect to people at British Commonwealth. This ain't British Commonwealth and European level. This is world level. So, when them hands start to land, it's something. So, let's see what people are saying. Let's go, champ. Saunders is going to make it look easy, in my opinion. Lemieux looked good, looked poor in the scales. What a weird world where Saunders may actually have the advantage in the fight down the stretch. I won't worry about it. He's got 12. He's got now time to rehydrate. Lemieux looked very gaunt versus Saunders. Like, don't worry, but don't even look up. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the weight, what a person looks like in weight. I can tell you something. Tell you now, right? I saw Liam Cameron before he fought Sam Sheedy, and he looked gaunt. He looked like he'd come out of some concentration camp. I'm telling you, he looked gaunt. Go back and look at the video of Sam Sheedy, Liam Cameron on BWTM Sports. There was another guy who came in, who the guy Sam Sheedy fought beforehand, the guy who fought to win the title. The guy came on, weighed something like 10 stone or 10 and a half stone, something like that. He was weighing like a welterweight the night before. And then come the fight night, he was unbelievable. He must have been weighing about 12 stone. So Lemieux knows his body. He's an experienced fighter. He knows his body. I'm not concerned about him looking gaunt. It's not like they're fighting tonight. If they're fighting tonight, I'd be concerned. But if they're fighting tomorrow, Lemieux will rehydrate. You think Lemieux's not up for this fight and he's gaunt. Don't worry about that. Lemieux's going to be well hydrated. After the weigh, Billy Joe Saunders is afraid, and we saw it. Billy Joe Saunders will sleep for sure, says Steel Water. Saunders always acts like that. LOL. No, he doesn't act all like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He didn't. He doesn't act that way. Yeah, I've seen Saunders beating, but he's very hyper, more hyper than I've ever seen Saunders. I'm telling you. Now remember, I was right next to Saunders before he had the Eubank fight. I was right next to Saunders a couple of days, 2 or 3 days out. No, 2 days out before the actual fight with Eubank Jr. Right? BJ Saunders by stoppage. Boxer beats puncher. They say that. Not all boxers beat punchers. There's a lot of punchers. Say that Mike Tyson was a puncher. How many boxers did he knock out? I can name a lot of punchers. Julian Jackson was a puncher. Hold on a second. Harold Graham was a fantastic boxer. He got starched by one punch. Saunders seems focused, in great shape. He switched on, knows the danger Lemieux has. This should bring out the best of him, not to mention his stylistic nightmare for Lemieux. Well, we'll see the stylistic nightmare. I don't see Billy Joe Saunders taking risks. He'll be cautious, but let his presence known. Countering the wild hooks of Lemieux. Wide decision for Saunders. Let's hope so. Poor Billy Joe Saunders compared himself to Gennady Golovkin. Haha. Little Tyson will attack him like a tank, and Billy Joe Saunders will sleep. Mikey returns and says, Lemieux's knockouts come with guys who can't defend a fraction as well as Saunders, can't move as well, hold their feet and trade with a puncher. Hello, yeah? Okay. Saunders is very skilled, so is Harold Graham. It's funny stereotypes which suggest gypsy fighters would be suck-em punchers, all brawn, but they're totally opposite. Saunders ain't going to trade with this guy. He'll be moving man in there, create angles, setting traps. This is Lemieux's biggest nightmare, honestly. Well, I want you to tell me. I want you to show me the fights where he did all that stuff you're talking there. I want to see the traps he set against Chris Eubank Jr. I want to see the traps he set against what's his name? William Monroe. I want to see these traps that he set. I didn't see no traps being set. I didn't see any traps being set. I don't know. I think you're making things up. I don't say you're making things up, but things that I don't see. I'm not seeing those things in Billy Joe. He's a good boxer. I'm seeing a guy that gets tagged. I'm seeing a guy that switches off in concentration. I'm seeing a guy that when he gets tired after 6 rounds, he starts to hold his feet and starts to trade. That's what I see. This is a guy that at one point was going life and death with Nick Blackwell. I have to remind you those things. Spike O'Sullivan clipped him. Eubank clipped him. Everybody thought has clipped him. So I'm telling you, this is not this fight. And when you've got a guy who can really punch, that puts a different sort of thing in your mind. And when you feel one of them shots, you have to move around the ring twice as fast and you're getting hit twice as hard. It's putting more pressure on your body. I'm telling you, this ain't the easy fight everyone's saying it is. Lemieux's window of opportunity for a KO is going to be small in this fight. I disagree. I think we're going to see the best David Lemieux. I think we're going to see the fighter. For me, I think boxing is about guys' improvements. And if it took from 2015 to 2017 for him to improve, I'm looking for an improved performance, a mature performance from David Lemieux, who has been champion before, who will want to be champion again. I think we're going to see a mature performance. And he knows he's fought Gennady Golovkin. And Gennady Golovkin punches way harder than Billy Joe Saunders. That's a fact. Yep, talk about these last couple of fights, but not Monroe. He looked solid there, despite how boring the fight was. Saunders put on a dazzling display. He will, Ingram. Well, I hope he does, for your sake. Saunders drops Lemieux early on wins and points. Okay. NBT boxing. Everyone can see the bookies has it dead even. Lee is a massive puncher, to be fair. Massive puncher. Saunders didn't get dropped. Saunders didn't drop once, but he dropped Lee twice. Lee's not got the greatest chin in the world. Lemieux isn't a boxer. You seriously can't expect a fight to be based off one punch against a fighter like Saunders. It's not happening. Can I just remind you that, in terms of, you say that Andy Lee was a puncher, right? He's a puncher, right? He went how many rounds against Peter Quillin? How many rounds did Danny Jacobs take to knock out Quillin? I think it was a round. This is the same Andy Lee you're saying is a puncher. Yeah, he's a puncher at what level? Just a FYI there. Stillwater says Billy Johnson has never met a boxer close to Lemieux power. If Billy Johnson wants to beat Lemieux, he'll need power of 2 hands like Lemieux, like GGG, and the jab of GGG. Everybody knows Billy Johnson is very far from GGG. Now, this is something I will say this. I think Saunders does not punch as hard as Gennady Golovkin. And as much as I think Saunders is stylistically an issue, is a problem for for GGG, because I think GGG is susceptible to guys who move. I said the first 6 rounds, I think Saunders could beat GGG in the first 6 rounds. I said down the stretch is where I think GGG can catch up with him and possibly force a late stoppage against Billy Joe Saunders. You would laugh at this, but I'm pretty confident Saunders will take his power if it came down to it. I'm not sure. What happened at the weight? Inglewood says he was overweight. Maybe he was. I don't know. Lemieux will take easy the weak shot of Billy Joe Saunders. I rate Lemieux, but I see Billy Joe Saunders as a top 4 at middleweight. Lemieux 5 to 8. Well, I'm not sure about that. We'll see. He set many traps against Eubank. Who do you think was the most handsome boxer? To me, it was Edlin Valerio. The Blackwell fight is totally irrelevant now. No, it's relevant because he's part of his boxing career and fighters have records. Just tuned in. If Billy Joe Saunders is in the best shape ever, why do you need to strip naked? Sean Porter style. Very good point. I just mentioned that. I'll be honest, think the Saunders wins. Lemieux can't box his way in and land them bombs like GGG. Just hopes he lands a bomb. Yeah, Lee knocked out Kobrov, who was a reigning champion. Better win than anything Lemieux has on record. Well, records are for DJs. I will repeat that again. And Andy Lee didn't knock out Quillin, who got knocked out in a round by Danny Jacobs. This is the same puncher you're talking about. Let's put it there. To me, like I said before, Saunders could be ahead of this fight, and I expect Saunders to be the better boxer, moving away and doing all the stuff that he's doing. And if Lemieux's still there in six rounds, I'm telling you now, I'm going Lemieux by knockout. That's my first pick. And Saunders on points. It's like one of these things. So you're seriously saying Lemieux has a better KO win than Kobrov? No way in hell. That handsome jaw will get cracked after that sharp nose bloodied. The triangle theories are daft. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see. You think Saunders is going to outbox Lemieux? I feel Lemieux is going to knock Saunders out. We're going to find out tomorrow, and it's actually on my sister's birthday as well. We're going to see. But if you're going to tell me somebody's a puncher, then I'm going to say, let's look at, okay, so he's a puncher. This guy fought this guy. I didn't knock him out, but this guy fought this guy and cleaned him out in a round. Triangle theories are not daft. Sometimes there's something in it. There's something in it. And if triangle theories were daft, then matchmakers, that's how matchmakers go about matching up fights. That tells me that you haven't got a real understanding of how matchmakers work, because they do look at triangle theories and do use triangle theories as a, well, if this guy can beat that guy, as a possibility, you should beat him. And look, and if you didn't use triangle theories, you go and look for a guy's, why'd you use BoxRec? People look down at BoxRec and I say, this guy, and this guy. Well, if this guy can beat this guy, well, that guy stands a chance because he's got knocked out here, got knocked out here, got knocked out here. Oh, guy's a pudgy, you should knock him out. That's not a triangle theory. That's not a triangle theory. That's just a fact. If two guys you fought have beaten a guy, you know, most of the times it works. The theory does work. It's not even a theory, it's a practice. It's not a theory, it's a practice. So call it a triangle practice, not a theory. Great Clash of Stars, most of the time there's nothing in it. Well, Lemieux is a good looking lad, but Jorge Linares is much better looking. But Edwin Villaria with them high cheekbones owned all. What about Robin Reed? Right. I'm out of here. We'll see tomorrow night. I'm very much into theories. Matter of fact, I think the earth is flat, and I am convinced that we are not right here, right now, but in some sort of computer game. Yeah, reality and matrix is very interesting. We'll have to take that on another chat on another channel. Oh, by the way, Reed deserves a mention. Just to end, just reminders tonight, we've got 2 great interviews tonight. We've got Billy Nelson, top trainer, and speaks his mind. We've got him tonight at 10 o'clock. And we also have, by the way, we also have coming up tonight Asghar Tahir. He's got plenty to say. So we'll see you after Povetkin versus Hamer.